Hello, hello, hello. It is I, Matthew the Body Kemmetmueller, coming to you live from the center of the volume photography universe, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and excited to talk to you guys about the impending busy season that's upon almost all of us, and some of the tech stuff that we've been kind of talking about and what's down the pipeline. So being on the board for SPAC, a lot of times we're able to talk to vendors and kind of get heads up on things that they're excited and wanted to share with us. And today I want to bring in from Studio Source, I got Michael Sheesby, round of applause, here to talk to us about OneRoster. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is the first conversation I had with him was very brief about some of the needs for this technology and where it's from and what it does. And I'll be honest with you, if it does, if it is, in fact, what I think it is, this could save all of us a lot of headache and time. And so I think we're going to kick this over to Michael. He's going to walk us through kind of what they've been working on. And then I'm going to ask a bunch of stupid questions. And if you guys have any questions or comments, kick them down in the chat. This was pre-recorded, but Michael and I both will be checking out throughout the course of the day tomorrow to answer, well, throughout the course of when this is aired, we'll be checking out to see what questions you may have and see if we can help you out at all. So thank you so much for joining, Michael. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And tell me what's going on.
All right. So we're solving the problem of getting data from the school to the studio. Everybody's got to do it. And in any demonstration of this, there's always somebody in the room who was invited, whose job it is to clean up the junk that they get from the school, right? They're going to be told, we need the picture day data because picture day is real soon now. Where's the data? Well, we haven't received it from the school. Why aren't they delivering it? Because they're doing an export and they get it usually in-house because email, maybe SFTP. Some people have their own portal, but it's a pain getting the data out of the school. And there's usually errors in it. I mean, just starting with the basics, like when you put a number that starts with 0 through the CSV file format, you lose the leading 0. And so student numbers are often chewed up. So when I say things like that, accented characters get screwed up, or there's an off by one error, or blank columns get shifted. Everybody deals with this nonsense. And a typical studio that does any volume will have somebody that thinks about that full time during the crunch. And you're laughing, right?
Her named Jessica. That is what she does. Yeah. It's interesting though, because one of my mentors when I was like getting into this industry, one of my mentors, I remember him talking to me about getting data from schools, and I was like, "Oh, so they send you like a CSV file?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. Like sometimes they send me like everything." And he said one time like schools sent him like social security numbers, and which is a terrifying amount of data that I don't want to have. And
I was talking to somebody today who said I can't do it as fast as he did, but he got a scan of a print of a PDF of an export of a CSV from the secretary. And he had to parse it apart and import it. And it was a train wreck, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, so I think getting the data correctly is huge. And then I think the other thing that can be really that we should be aware of as an industry, because I think it takes one big mess up and it changes the rules for everyone, is like some people are putting their rosters and things like into AI, not knowing the privacy settings on the AI. So maybe like I've been in a couple of classes where somebody's like, "Oh, it was like jarbled, so I just like tossed it in Chat GPT and had to clean it up." And said, no, because like you put that out there, that's open source. So I think there's like we as an industry have an obligation to protect people's data. And if a school's giving you data, it's your responsibility to treat it with the care that it needs. And so having good, clean data is an absolute need for us. But making sure that even any way that we can help get that good, clean data, also while maintaining the privacy we need to for our clients, is huge. So tell me more.
Quite right. Okay. So modern SIS platforms, and there's like 50 or 100 of these things, right? We're talking Power School and Infinite Campus and so on. There's, let's say, just to put a number to it, 100 big ones in use across the US. Put yourself in the shoes of any company that needs to plug in along the class of Microsoft or Google or Apple, where they've got their own class initiatives, right? Microsoft Classroom. They need to have a roster of the kids so that they can be rostered and signed in. These are the big companies. Do you think that they have the time to find the APIs and sign up for the partner programs with and integrate with 50 or 100 big SISs? Of course not, right? And those are the big guys. What about the little guys who need data to do their jobs? And I'm referring to bus companies, lunch balance, library, behavioral issues, take-home quizzes, anything that requires a list of students. ISV.
Maybe even just small and private charter schools. I'm
talking about the people that are plugging into the schools. They've all got the same problem. They need the data, and they're not going to write plugins for 50 or 100 different SIS systems. So what's happened is that the universe got together, and this consortium, it's called One EdTech, exists, and they defined a standard called One Roster for how you talk to an SIS. And that means that all of these different companies, from Microsoft all the way down to little ISV that handles take-home math quizzes, they all can talk to One Roster, which plugs into any one of the SISs. One specification. It's not a product. It's not a company. It's a standard for how you plug into a random SIS. And people hear this in the photography industry and they kind of push back and they're like, no, it has to be done using a CSV because that's the way it's always been done. And it's not just tradition. It's like they don't believe that the rest of the world has solved this problem, but they have. You think Microsoft is going to screw around with 50 API partners? No, they're just going to, put their wood behind a standard. So that's what we've done. Studio Source, we've implemented the One Roster standard in the dashboard. Right. So just a little bit of context. We sell yearbook services, software and volume printing discounts and management and proofing and all kinds of stuff. So we have this dashboard, which keeps track of the 100 schools that you work with and the state of the 100 yearbooks that you're working on. So our dashboard now speaks the One Roster standard. And we call it One Roster Photo just to separate that it's designed for the photography industry. And the intention is that you create a school in our dashboard, central, secondary, and you plug into the SIS using One Roster. And I'll talk about how you get that conversation with the district to pull the information out. But the idea is it's just a connection. You literally plug it in and it's persistent. It's like a hose on the side of a building. You can go and turn it back on and off anytime you want. You don't, just compare notes with the receptionist or secretary at the school. Could you please send me a CSV? Oh, I have to do an export. That means I have to call it my buddy in IT, and then they chew up the data, and then they put it into an email and they send it. It's old school and it's heavy. If you're doing that for picture day and makeup day, for grads, for the any event where you have to have a list of students, you're hitting the school multiple times with the same request. Mm-hmm. Now with this connection, you just turn it on, get the current data, turn it right back off again. So it's a persistent connection. You get clean data because we're plugging directly into the SIS. So there's no, leading zeros and there's no accented characters getting replaced with bullets, that kind of stuff. It's clean. And the last part is it's secure, right? It's an API connection. You're not sending a CSV by email. You're plugging directly in using what's called Auth 0, cutting edge, hardcore security to get the data. So what happens when you're talking to the district is they kind of light up. They go, oh, thank God. We do this 50 times a year for the lunch and the library and the cafeteria. You guys are going to be 51. It's not a big deal. They do it all the time. The way we do it now as an industry, where you say, please do an export to the CSV with these column headings, that's the outlier. That's the weird one. Photography has gone from being the way it's always been done to kind of the annoying, weird side case. And
okay. So I guess one of the things that's coming to my mind, like one of the things that stinks is we work with, we're not that big, but we're pretty big. We're pretty big for a small local guy. And so we do over 100,000 kids, we do over 100,000 kids. And some of the schools we work with have pretty transient populations. And so even if we pull the data from a school before picture day, we'll show up and there may be kids who are newly implemented into it. And so even if we pulled it 2 days before, there might be 100 kids that have enrolled into this school. Would this be able to give us that updated roster
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what this.
that's the point. You just go back to the tap on the side of the house and you twist it and you open it and you get the fresh data whenever you need it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, Jessica, I hope she isn't watching this because she's gonna want this right now. All right. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Studio Source is kind of putting this forward, and walk me kind of through what the big advantages are. Also, if I'm a Studio Source guy, like how does this help me with Studio Source problems as well?
Well, the main problem with the yearbook is that you're at the end of the pipe, right? Picture day is where you, the photography studio, make the money, right? You're blocked on data until the last possible moment because you're priority number 67 for the receptionist. And then they get the data and you do picture day, and then time passes and you do the makeup, and then you do the selects, and you do the cropping, and you do the knockout, and you do the color, and you put them into packages, and you do the print. And then the last thing you think about is the PSPA or the SPOA CD, right? So they're at the end of the line, the yearbooks. And it can be like December by the time the school yearbook advisor actually gets the data in their hands, old school. With this, the vision is you go to the school, you sign the principal, the IT department sends you a mail with these 4 pieces of information. We'll talk about that, but the information that you need to make the connection. You come home from the meeting, you sit down, you type in those 4 pieces of information, and your seat isn't warm. You've got the data for picture day and the yearbook, right? The vision is that you're sitting down, you're in 2 minutes in the studio, and you could build the panel pages for the yearbook right now. So they're at the head of the line. But the fact is, it's not just yearbooks. I mean, you've got a piece of your business is yearbooks, I suppose, but your bread and butter is not yearbooks, it's photography and packages. And what I'm describing is quite useful for that as well, of course.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can you show me something?
Yeah, you bet. I'm going to share my screen.
All right. Let me know when you're ready. I'll pull that up for us. I'm working from home. I don't know if you can hear it, but my dogs are going crazy. So sorry, everyone, if you hear Buster Douglas and Bailey. They're letting the neighborhood have it right now.
Sweet. All right. So we're in the Studio Source dashboard where this photography studio has a bunch of accounts, one of which is called Acorn Academy. And we have a data tab where we keep track of the connection and other stuff. So at the connection level, we see the district that we're working with and the school that we're going to pull. So the way to think about it is the district IT department handles the brains of the SIS, right? If you've got, here we're working with Infinite Campus, okay, that's an SIS. The district configures that for all of the various schools in the district. It's just a single one-stop shop for all the data. You get approval by the district, you're plugged in, you can now pull anything that they have allowed you to see. So here we're making a connection to this real district called Kettle Moraine, and we've connected it just because I was working in something into Dousman Elementary. The last time we pulled was 20 minutes ago, and that's it. We've got the data. Anytime I hit this button, it's turning the faucet on and getting fresh data. So if we did picture day and it's 2 days later and I want makeup data, just hit sync now and you'll get the updates.
Okay.
The next tab is importing images and data. I can tell that I've currently got 340 students, 60 odd staff, and 474 guardians, by the way, with name and email address, which is huge, right? You need that. That's a core of your business. You can augment this with more stuff. Like, for example, if you have people that joined late, or you have pictures of people that you want to add, and I'll explain why you would care to do that in a second, you can upload data and images here. I have to be cautious about showing the next tab. It's called Table, and what I'm going to do is show you
I have a question about that. Can we go back to this? So I have a question for you. I have a couple of friends that live in like California. And California is more restrictive on what schools are able to release for data than other places in the country. So like we're able to be a verified vendor with our district, so we're able to partner up, and we have to sign obviously privacy agreements and go through a whole bunch of stuff, but we're able to have access to parent contact information with stipulations. And sometimes like California, it's like they just don't do it. So would this be, and I'm just asking because I really don't know. So when you're saying you could add more stuff in, like if I had amassed my own database of some of the email addresses, is there a way for me to merge that in through that? Is that one of the, okay.
That's exactly the idea. Yep.
Okay.
Anything that you want to add onto it, like ticket codes for kids or custom data like their sales records, so you can sort by the most popular, the most buy-ish parents. That didn't come out right, but you know what I mean. You can put whatever you want, and we'll keep track of it. Okay, I was going to point at the table, but I'm not actually going to click this because that would show this recording actual parent data, phone numbers and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is go into, just before this started, we blurred. So you're seeing real kid name. Sorry, these are kids, staff members, and guardians. So this is what you would see if you clicked on table, and I just took a moment to blur out the email and phone numbers to preserve privacy. But that's exactly what you get. So Sage Harwick here is in grade 5 in Miss Wick's class. Heading back to it under relations, this is kind of a debugging tool, and it's just super handy. Here we've got the Andreski family. Zach and Aaron are the parents, and Charlotte and Ivy are the kids. There's sort of more common names. You can sometimes debug here. Like there are 3 kids under one. It's just helpful to be able to see the structure of families, because if you get 15 Joneses and you're not sure who's related to whom, you know exactly now. Export's the interesting part. It's where you choose a format, CSV, Excel, or presets, which you cook up or we provide. And these are some tests here, but Captura, BNL, Flow, these are built-in presets, and we'll expand that over time. You basically, I don't want to do it because here, I'll show you how fast it is. Click, bang, done. There's the data. If I open that, everybody's going to see.
Wow.
But yeah, I wasn't kidding. You sit down, make the connection, and get the data. It's that fast anytime you want it.
I know I kind of saw on that list. So like we are currently working with Captura. So this is like fully integrated then with Captura and most of the big guys.
Those are all just column headings in an export. We've done Captura, BNL, and Flow so far, but ask me in a day or two and we'll add more. They're just column heading presets. It's nothing to us.
That's awesome. Now, I guess my next question is, sometimes when I go and I approach a school, like a new client, whether it's a school or sports, sometimes I'll get some pushback and they'll say, "Oh, we don't want to give you the data," and which is one of my favorite conversations because we both have the exact same argument. And they say, "I don't want to give you the data because I want to respect my parents' privacy." And I have to say, I need the data so I can respect everyone's privacy. Because if I don't have the data, I can't create a private gallery. If I can't create a private gallery, then I can't protect the child's privacy. And so we both have our hearts, like truthfully, I think, in the same place. Because like, no, we don't want it because we don't want to spam people. We aren't selling information.
It's the same thing with face matching. The people who don't want faces to be tracked are the ones who really need their faces to be tracked so you can detect them.
Exactly. And so I guess my question, because I'm coming into this cold. My question to you is like, if I were to go to a district and I were to say, "Hey, I got this great thing I'd love to implement with you. Do you think this is something I would get pushback on? And like, if so, I guess, how do we navigate that? What's that conversation look like?"
Right. The thing is, the district does it all the time for lunch and cafeteria and books and everything else. The receptionist or the secretary who you've always had your data people working with and the principal who decides may not know about one roster. So we provide you with this tool set. It's designed to be rebranded, and it makes the argument to the principal. This is you giving this presentation to the principal saying, "Here are all these different SISs, and here's a dumb way to do things." Okay, a quiz tool has to plug into the SIS, and so they could do it by plugging into the SIS and getting a list of students. And then the next tool along, like a behavioral tool or Buster Library or whatever, they could implement connections using their APIs and their partner programs for all of the different SISs that I pointed out. But that's dumb. It's much smarter to have a single connection point so that they're all updated, and that's called one roster. And you don't need to convince the district. They already like it. They're going to say, what took you so long? They're going to say, oh, thank God, because you don't think about it. How many times are you going to go per school and say, I need fresh data, right? I need it for picture day. I need it for makeup day. I need it for grads. I need it for graduation.
And also, like, one more thing that I think is just like, you kind of touched on it too. It's not even just asking them. It's like, we need it the same time that they're slammed. Like the same time that they're getting ready for open house days, the same time that they got all this stuff going on and they don't have time to deal with you because their day-to-day, the obligations of their job are at peak, and you're asking for a favor. You're asking for a favor.
If you do 100 schools and 10 of them are at the same district, it's going to be, hi, me again. I know you solved my problem yesterday. Different school. Could you give me this one, please?
Yeah, well, we are lucky where like most of the schools we work with are district decisions. So I think that for us, if we were to do this, like I think most of the schools we work with, we would implement it from like, we would probably just go straight to the district and just say, hey, we want to simplify it. And Jessica is the one who we actually pull our data from the districts too. We don't pull from school, we pull from district. So this could be like let's reduce your workload and be a trusted partner. I think this is awesome.
It kind of elevates the game. You're already talking to the district. Yay for you. A ton of photography studios say, my relationships are at the school level. Mm-hmm. I know the principal. We've had it the way we've always done it. It's stupid, right? An export, a CSV, some sort of transport, another CSV, Excel, I should have put, and then you, right? It'd just be so much cleaner if you just got rid of all that and you did this, right? So when you do that, now you have to talk to the district, and the district might grill you and say, look, are you a serious company? Are you going to sign our privacy agreements? And the correct answer is, yeah, you're trusting me with a ton of private information. It's important that my company is credible. And if you do that and say, here's a secure solution, it's less work for you, it's always up-to-date data for me so that I don't have to come and bug you all the time, you're playing a different game. It's at a higher level. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and we have a couple of districts that like really give us the what for when it comes to asking questions about their data. And so like we have our stuff dialed up pretty tight because there's a couple that are really on us. And so I know that there's we definitely always have to approach with that. And we're that's the one thing that, the big guys, when we start picking up schools in our neighborhood, that was the one thing that they had done was they had kind of converted everyone to these district decisions. And so it took a really long time for us to get in. But the gains it took a longer time to get your first one, but the gains are a lot bigger for us.
And I think also when you are working at the district level, if you've got 10 schools there and these 2 schools are done by that photographer and these 5 schools are done by that photographer, and that photographer's got his stuff together and this guy is old school, they're just going to say, look, we don't have time for this. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
There's commission arguments and whatnot that the principal will have a point of view on, but ultimately somebody's job depends on secure transport of data. And they're going to say, policy, sorry, we're going with these guys. They do this automated connection. It's secure. Less work for us. Next topic. And they're going to talk about books,
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this is really cool tech. You guys are going to have it to demo at SPAC?
It's available right now. We're doing early adopter stuff. We've got hundreds and hundreds of schools using it. If people are curious, reach out to me, and I'll be happy to let you into the club. Try it out. Make sure we get it right before SPAC when we roll it out for absolutely public.
To the whole thing. SPAC, of course, it was so funny. We just finished our training this year, and so. Literally March 1st, 2020, I had 2 employees, 2. And this year we just finished training and we had 49. And it's kind of crazy. Imagine we took it seriously. And so
imagine if we were playing a game.
So we've been so lucky. And so it was so funny though, because I was talking to one of my employees. We do this big year-end thing. We call it the Kemmies. We do this like award show and all this. It's fun. Big party. And then we also have a thing where if you work for me for 2 school seasons, we take you to SPAC. And so one of my new people, she's like, I just am so excited to make it to SPAC because every week I'm hearing new stories and new fun stuff about it. And she's like, that's like the thing that's like drawing me into wanting to stay and grow and get better. I'm so excited for it, which is exactly what we want. Is we want this culture of rewarding people that are hanging out and doing this work with us for not just a season, but for seasons. And so SPAC's always one of my favorite things to say, and that's not just because I'm on the board. I love it so much. We get to bring all of our people, and it's a great give back. So I'm excited to see you at SPAC. I'm excited to see this. And last 30 seconds, anything you want to tell the people?
No, I just, what I wanted to say about SPAC was I have a long-standing love affair with the show. Great people. I enjoy every part of the show, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I just wanted to share. Yeah, to your employees, I can't believe you're motivating your people. Come to Vegas and attend a trade show. That's the payoff. It actually kind of makes sense. It's okay.
It is actually, now that you say that, that's like, I remember a guy who talked to me one time and he traveled for work and he goes, well, your benefit for traveling for work is more travel for free. You get free frequent flyer miles. You get free hotel points. You get free. And he's like, so when you work and you travel, you get to travel for free. I'm excited for you guys. This is awesome. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Everyone else, I hope to see you at SPAC. We've just revamped the website. We got new logos. We are pushing the whole new design. If you scroll down at the bottom, you will get to see my wonderful employee, Dylan, standing awkwardly in one of the candid photos. So go ahead and give Dylan a shout out. And I'm so excited to see you guys all. Thank you for chiming in on this. And we will see you guys in January.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.